The buzz surrounding a potential showdown between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua has gone from a distant rumor to a real possibility, and reactions from the boxing world are as wild as you'd expect. Let's start with Tyson Fury, who didn't hold back. When asked whether Jake Paul could be used as a tune-up fight for Joshua, Fury laughed off the idea of Paul being just a warm-up. In fact, he flipped the script and claimed Jake Paul could knock Joshua out. "Yeah, seriously," Fury doubled down. "Don't take a dive for Jake Paul, Anthony. Not for $1 billion. You go in there, knock him out cold." Then, in classic Fury fashion, he added that he's ready to bet £1 million on Paul laying out AJ. And just like that, the internet lit up. It all kicked off after Jake Paul defeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a result that some saw as a big step up for Jake. The win was enough to get people talking, and Saudi boxing figure Turki Alalshik added fuel to the fire by throwing his support behind a potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. When someone with that much influence says he's open to the idea, the boxing world listens. Now, while hardcore boxing fans and insiders are rolling their eyes, others are starting to ask, could this actually happen? Jake Paul, never one to shy away from a headline, has made it clear he wants Anthony Joshua. He's been calling AJ out on social media and in interviews, insisting that the fight is more than just talk. "I'll beat Anthony Joshua. He's stiff. He doesn't have a chin," Paul said boldly after his win over Chavez Jr. He claims they've been banging each other and that talks are ongoing. If things go his way, Paul says we could see the bout happen as early as next year. But here's the thing, Paul knows exactly what he's doing. He's not just chasing legacy. He's chasing attention, and let's be honest, he's winning that battle. From taking out MMA fighters to facing aging boxers, he's maneuvered his way into the center of the boxing spotlight, despite being, by all accounts, an outsider. He's even referenced Deontay Wilder to justify taking on much bigger fighters, saying weight shouldn't be an excuse when you're chasing greatness. Promoter Eddie Hearn isn't dismissing it entirely, but he's clearly cautious. He called the potential fight financially massive, and admitted it could bring a huge payday for both fighters. Still, Hearn warned that pairing an inexperienced Jake Paul with a two-time world champion like Joshua could be catastrophic. He went as far as saying it might end Paul's career, physically or metaphorically. Even so, Hearn knows hype sells. If this is a 50-50 fight in people's minds, fine, let's do it. But when AJ knocks him out, don't come crying, saying, "Well, it was just Jake Paul," he said during a recent interview. Other voices in boxing are split. Some, like Roy Jones Jr., are urging caution. "We're talking about a former world champion versus a guy who hasn't proven himself against elite competition," Jones said. "Joshua's not Chavez Jr., he's a whole different beast." But then there's Tyson Fury again, doubling down on his take. "Jake Paul's on the rise," he said, "and AJ's a spent force." Fury pointed to Paul's recent bulked-up frame and his ability to generate buzz as reasons to believe in the upset. "I like the look. A bit chubby, a bit bulky, he's getting there." Fury might be the only elite boxer willing to publicly put that much faith in Jake Paul. But others, like former world champ Amir Khan, aren't playing around. Khan didn't sugarcoat it, Jake could get killed in the ring with Joshua. Still, it's impossible to ignore the numbers. Financially, the fight makes sense. Jake Paul has a massive following, and whether you love him or hate him, people tune in to watch. And when people watch, money rolls in. So, for AJ, who's still looking for a new defining moment post-title, it could be a money grab with a cherry on top. Plenty of fans have noticed that Jake Paul's name keeps popping up around big fights in Saudi Arabia, from Fury to Usyk. And it's clear now that this is more than coincidence. Saudi backers are clearly interested in the buzz he brings, and if Joshua is open to it, the business side might outweigh the purists' concerns. But let's talk about the elephant in the room: safety. Former cruiserweight champ Lawrence Oakley, who sparred with Jake before, has real fears about how dangerous this fight could be. "AJ has elite power," Oakley said. "Jake's tough, he trains hard, but this is a different level. It's not just a knockout risk. It's something much worse." Derek Chisora has been even more vocal. He called the entire idea of Jake Paul receiving any sort of WBC ranking a disgrace. To Chisora, it's spitting in the face of boxers who've clawed their way up the rankings the hard way. "You don't earn a ranking because you're famous," he snapped. You earn it in the ring. And he's not alone. Frank Warren called the potential matchup a big ask, and Simon Jordan flat out rejected the idea that Joshua should even entertain it. Jordan's main point? This fight doesn't elevate boxing, it turns it into a circus. And for a man like Joshua, whose legacy should rest on championship bouts, this kind of crossover event could dilute his brand long-term. But not everyone is dismissive. In fact, some argue that Paul has been good for boxing. Spencer Oliver and Dave Farrar discussed this recently, saying that Jake has injected new life into the sport, especially among younger fans. His promotion of women's boxing, especially fighters like Amanda Serrano, has earned him genuine respect. He's brought in fans who never cared about boxing before, Oliver said. You've got to give credit where it's due. Still, whether or not he belongs in the same ring as Joshua is another matter entirely. Tommy Fury, the only man so far to hand Jake Paul a professional loss, isn't buying the hype. He mocked the idea completely, saying, "He couldn't beat me when I had one hand. What's he gonna do against AJ?" Tommy made it clear, "I'm still your daddy, Jake." And if that wasn't enough, he added, that loss is always going to hang over you. But Jake Paul doesn't seem fazed. He's sticking to the same energy. He knows people doubt him. In fact, he welcomes it. People just want to see me lose, he said. That's what all this is about. And that might be the whole point. Whether or not Paul has any realistic shot at beating Anthony Joshua, the fact is, people are watching. They're talking. And that alone could be enough to get this fight made. From a marketing standpoint, it's a goldmine. From a boxing standpoint, it's chaos. Still, maybe that's the world we live in now, where spectacle matters just as much as skill, where views outweigh belts, and where a YouTuber-turned-boxer might just end up standing across the ring from a two-time heavyweight world champion. Whether that's good or bad for the sport is up for debate. But one thing's certain, if this fight gets announced, everyone will be watching.